But I do want to share a funny story. When Paul first came, and you'll remember this, I'm sure, because you remember that little itty-bitty thing about Jim this morning. I took Kelly and a friend of hers to your very first youth group that you did here, your first youth meeting, the summer in 1979, right before school was starting. And Kelly brought a friend along. And I remember I sort of stood in the back and watched. I wanted to see you, check you out a little bit. So I stood in the back and watched. And the first thing Paul says to the kids, he introduces himself as, I'm Reverend Paul Gaug, and you will all call me Reverend Gaug. And I thought, is he serious? Knowing the kids that he had, to deal with. And, like the Field boys, Dean and Doug, and Mike Miller, and my sons Andy and Tim coming on later, and even Kelly. I thought, how long is that going to last? Well, truth be told, it lasted probably 10 minutes. And then I heard, words like, let's call him the irreverent Gaug. Things like that. But I tell you what, Paul jumped into those kids' lives, into the fray of their lives, and shared Jesus with them like no one had. In fact, my young son Tim had gone on, when he was in 8th grade, it was near the end of your stay here early on, he had gone to a retreat that Paul led, I think in Parkville, and came home, and a couple weeks later, he said he had a great time. A couple weeks later, he says, Mom, have you noticed anything different about me? And I said, let's see, you have a black eye? No. A tooth knocked out? No. I didn't know what he was talking about. And he said, well, I became a Christian, and I wanted you to notice the difference. And then I felt horrible, but Paul just had such an effect on our family over the years. And like Linda said, we've just kept in touch for all those years in between. Well, now, here you are, leaving us again, and you've jumped into other people's lives, sharing Jesus all over the place, The reason Paul is late for most things he's late for is because he's sharing Jesus with somebody, and that's no lie. I know that to be true. Because I'm one of those people that probably 5 or 6 times, I know he's gone overboard with me on speaking of Jesus, and it's late for another function. But what we want to do as a family here is present to you tonight just a thing that you can remember us for, and particularly the time that you've been here. And you'll notice a few clocks scattered around the room. We just wanted to impress on you how much your time with us has meant. And, it is about time that we show you that appreciation for all things that you've done. And we want to give you a way to remember time in a special way, the time you've been here. So I have something to present to you. We have something to present to you. And you may turn it around. It's not just a piece of our time that you've had, but we want you to have a timepiece to remember us by. This is what is engraved on the back, on a plaque. To Paul Gaug, in service of Brookdale Church, 1979 to 1985, 2007 to 2013. You were right on time, both times. Love from your Brookdale family.
That Great Commission thing that I preached this morning, literally Jesus says, go to the people, all the people, and take them to school. And you all took me to school when I was 26 years old, just having graduated from seminary. And then 5.5 years ago, you took me to school again. And it's been very good. It's been very rich and very deep. sometimes deeper than I wanted it to be. It sure hasn't been boring, and it sure hasn't been superficial. And I will be forever grateful to you and for God for that. That things happened and God did his good thing in spite of me and with me, and through all the good moments when things just went really well, and all the awkward moments when hardly anything went well. And I am so grateful for every conversation, for every way that God has shown us together that he is real. And he is certainly real for Brookdale Church. I just hope that you'll be courageous. I hope you won't be always neat and orderly. And I even hope that you won't always be on time. You know, that parable about the Good Samaritan was Jesus teaching his disciples. Sometimes time is not as important. Punctuality gives way to love. And there are times when Jesus told me, Paul, when are you going to be on time? So there's both of those things going on in my head and my heart and my life. You took us under your wing, and we had our first 2 children here, and you taught us what it was to be the church. And we had a great time. Like, I never laughed so hard and cried so hard those in my late 20s and early 30s as I did with you all, and those of you who were here at that time. And then the second time around, it went even deeper. So dealing with the human heart and soul as it is, and going through disappointments and joys, failures and victories, it has been something else. And I don't think I could ever say, I know I can never say with integrity, with honesty, that there is not a God who cares. That Jesus is not just a legend, not just a superstition, not just something that weak people made up to justify their lives, but that God is indeed very real. And God is in the midst of the mess and chaos and the joy and wonder of life. And you sure have taught me that, and I am very grateful. And Linda and I and our family are grateful for every word of kindness, every evidence of grace, every way that you have shown us that Jesus is real. And this is real stuff. So it means real risk, real tears, real joy, real life. Thank you, and God bless you all.